Good evening, brother, sister. How beautiful it is to close the day with a prayer that reminds us that we are not alone, that even when everything goes out, there's a light that remains, the presence of God. Today we are going to pray together based on a powerful promise that is found in Psalm 4, a psalm that speaks of trust, rest, and security in God, even in the midst of anguish. In peace I will lie down, and likewise I will sleep, because only you, Lord, make me live with confidence. Psalm 4.8, this is not just a phrase to remember. It is a truth to live. Tonight, let each word of this prayer prepare your soul for a deep rest, without fear, without anxiety, only in peace, trusting that God has control. If this prayer blesses your life, write in the comments, "Tonight I will rest in the peace of God." Your faith can be a seed of hope for others. The night falls, the noise of the day goes out, and your soul begins to speak more clearly. This is the moment when everything becomes more sincere, more vulnerable, more real. And right here in this silence, God is present. This prayer is a refuge for your heart, an invitation to release the weight of the day and receive the peace that only heaven can give. The psalmist wrote, "Answer me when I cry, O God of my justice." Tonight, perhaps you do not have the strength for many words, but your silent cry is also a prayer. God still hears what you cannot express. He does not need discourses, only sincerity. And if today you approach with an open heart, you can be sure He will hear you. It is possible that today you have faced frustrations, discussions, or simply tiredness of soul. But now it is time to let go. Do not keep carrying what you cannot solve tonight. Present it to God. He knows what you lived, what you felt, what you thought. And more than judging you, He wants to comfort you. He wants to give you rest, not only physical, but deep rest, rest of the soul. Tonight, tell the Lord, "Here I am, with my successes and mistakes, with my agitated mind and my tired heart. But here I am." That is a sufficient prayer. Psalm 4 teaches us that trust is not born of the perfect, but of the sincere. Today, approach without masks. He already knows you, and yet He loves you deeply. The day ends, but the presence of God does not leave. He does not sleep. He does not disconnect. He does not get tired. While you close your eyes, He continues to watch. In peace I will lie down, and in the same way I will sleep, because only you, Lord, make me live with confidence. Let this be the phrase that is recorded in your mind tonight, because that peace does not depend on the external, but on the certainty that He is with you. Sometimes we believe that to rest is to close our eyes, but true rest begins when the soul calms down. Tonight, do not try to sleep carrying with you thoughts that way. Deliver them one by one. Name them if necessary, and then release them into the hands of God. He has more power than you need and more love than you imagine. The psalmist also said, "You gave joy to my heart, greater than that of them when their grain and their muscles abundant." That joy does not depend on circumstances. It is a peace that goes beyond what you have or do not have. Tonight, although not everything is resolved, you can smile from within because you know that God is in control, and that by itself is already a reason to rest. When the night comes, memories also come, some good, others that hurt, but you do not have to face them alone. God is in your room. Maybe you do not see Him, but His peace announces it. Maybe you do not hear Him, but His presence envelopes you. Tonight, let Him embrace even what you do not know how to heal, because where you reach the limit, He just begins to act. Maybe today you have said things that you did not want to say, or acted as you did not want to, but the night is also a place for forgiveness. Not only the forgiveness of God towards you, but also that which you need to give to yourself. Tonight, rest knowing that mercy is renewed, that you can sleep without guilt, because there's a God who erases, cleanses, and restores. Psalm 4 was not written in a time of external peace, but of struggle. And yet, David said, "In peace I will lie down." That is faith. Faith not in the absence of problems, but in the presence of God. Tonight, let that faith accompany you like an invisible blanket. Let it envelop your thoughts, your emotions, your dreams. Because when you know who you trust, you can truly sleep. Tonight, you do not need to do anything to deserve the peace of God. You just have to receive it. It is a gift, not a reward. He does not expect you to be perfect at the end of the day. He expects you to be sincere with everything you are. with the good and what still hurts, because his peace is not based on your performance, but on his constant presence. Maybe there are things you did not achieve today, words you did not say, tasks you did not finish. But the night is not a punishment for the incomplete. It is a reminder that you do not need to do everything in one day. Tonight, rest. Tomorrow will be a new opportunity. And in the meantime, the eternal God continues to work. Even when you only sleep, when you lie down in peace, you are doing an act of faith. You are saying, Lord, I give you what I do not understand. I trust you what I cannot change. I give you this day as it was. That surrender is powerful. Not everyone dares to let go, but you are doing it now. And that opens the door to a rest that does not depend on the body, but on the soul. Many seek to sleep with pills, with noise, with distractions. You are choosing another path. Sleep with the presence of God. That makes the difference. Because not only do you turn off the body, you calm the spirit. Tonight, let this prayer be the bridge between true fatigue and rest. The bridge between your thoughts and peace. You have come this far because something inside you knows that you need more than sleep. You need peace. And Psalm 4 is your answer. Tonight, embrace that promise. I will lie down in peace. Say it calmly. Repeat it with faith. Write it in your soul. Because that word is power. And what you say today with faith, you will live it with rest. Your bed is not just a place of the body. Tonight, make it an altar for the soul. It does not matter if you are alone or accompanied, in silence or with soft music. What matters is that you have chosen to end your day with God. And when you do, that common space becomes sacred. Because where there is sincere prayer, there is real presence. Sometimes the enemy wants to fill your mind just before going to sleep. It brings repetitive thoughts, worries of tomorrow, guilt of the past. But tonight, you have a stronger word. God makes me live with confidence. That confidence is not naivety. It is faith. It is knowing that there is a Father who watches, who cares, who acts even while you rest. The rest you need will not come from having all the answers. It will come from knowing who you trust. Tonight, do not try to understand everything. Try to give everything. Say goodbye. I do not understand everything I am experiencing, but I do know that you are with me, and that is enough for me. That prayer is enough to start sleeping in peace. Today, you can stop fighting. You can let go of the need for control. You can surrender, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom, because whoever surrenders to God really rests. Tonight, do not sleep with your soul at war. Choose peace, not as a temporary emotion, but as a spiritual decision. I will rest because I trust. This prayer is like a spiritual blanket that envelopes you. As you listen to it, something inside you calms down, because you are not alone, because there is a God who is already here. He does not come when you sleep. He was already here before you started praying. Tonight, sleep knowing that his presence is the last voice you need to hear. You are not here by chance. Tonight, your soul brought you to this place of refuge, because inside you, there is a part that knows that only in God there is true rest. The psalmist knew it. He did not trust his environment or his strength. He trusted in the fidelity of God. Tonight, do the same. Do not seek guarantee in the visible. Find security in the eternal. The peace you seek is not an emotion. It is a person, the God who listens to you even when you are silent. Tonight, you do not need to say more. Just stay, breathe, feel. He is here. His spirit is covering your room like a soft blanket of comfort. And you can rest knowing that there is no safer place than his presence. If you had a difficult day, this prayer is like water in the desert. Each word not only calms, it also restores. Tonight, allow the Holy Spirit to heal what the day hurt. Let every thought that tries to shake your soul submit to this truth. Only you, Lord, make me live with trust. Not your situation, not your environment, only him. Remember that sleeping is not disconnecting. It is giving yourself. That is, Lord, I stop trying through my means and I abandon myself in you. That is the greatest sign of faith at night, because while the world sleeps, you decide to sleep trusting. Tonight, do not look for more reasons to be at peace. Just embrace the promise. It is enough for you. The soul needs to close the day differently from how it began. And you are doing it. You are transforming tiredness into rest, restlessness into surrender, relaxation, the thoughts shaken in serene prayer, and all that simply to stop and return your heart to God. Tonight, that is all you need to rest. Really, when you turn off the lights, not everything is in darkness. There's a light that continues to shine within you, the light of faith. Tonight, you do not need to understand everything to rest. You just need to trust that God did not abandon you when the day ended. He remains. He cares. He watches. His presence is a clarity that your soul needs to sleep in peace. Sometimes, just before we're going to sleep, thoughts appear that were not welcome during the day. But tonight, you do not have to listen to them. Choose another voice, the one of the psalm that declares, "I will rest in peace." That is your spiritual decision. Tonight, you will not give space to fear, or to the past, or to doubt. Tonight, you will surrender to rest as an act of faith. God is closer to what you feel. Maybe there are no visible signs or intense emotions, but true faith does not need evidence. It needs decision. Tonight, decide to believe that He is with you, and that faith will be enough to extinguish anxiety and ignite rest. Because where there is silent faith, there are invisible miracles. Do not try to sleep with your soul loaded. Every thought, every fear, every pending, surrender to God. Visualize how you give it to Him, one by one, and feel how your chest lightens. The deep rest begins when you decide not to take anything with you to sleep, except His peace. Tonight, that is the only thing you need to keep. The prayer of this night is not repetition. It is transformation. With every word, your soul is being aligned with the calm of heaven. You are not here just to sleep. You are here to surrender. To say, "Lord, thank you for this day. Although it was difficult, I got here, and that is already a victory." Tonight, sleep as if you had won, simply by trusting. You are not forced to solve everything tonight. There are things that you will only find an answer with time and with prayer. Tonight, instead of looking for immediate solutions, look for rest and certainty that God continues to work, even in silence. He does not need you to be awake to continue His work. While you sleep, He continues to take care of you. Sometimes the soul only needs a phrase to find rest. Tonight, repeat it. "I will rest in peace because you, Lord, make me live with confidence." No matter what has happened today, no matter what you still do not understand, that phrase is your refuge. Right inside you, let it be the melody that your spirit sings while the body sleeps. The day ends, but the presence of God does not. While everything goes out, His fidelity remains. Tonight, you are not surrounded by darkness. You are wrapped in divine care. Your room becomes a sacred place when you decide to pray. And you did it. That is why now you can sleep with the tranquility of knowing God is here. Make your rest a spiritual act. Do not lie down like someone who surrenders to fatigue. Lie down like someone who surrenders to the Father. The difference is immense. One sleeps exhausted, the other confident. Tonight, you decide how to sleep. And if you got here, it is because you are choosing confidence. And where there is confidence, there is peace. Do not let the enemy whisper lies to you at night. You are not alone. You are not unprotected. You are not drifting. There is a God who watches over you, who listens to your prayers, who sustains your thoughts, who guards your dreams. Tonight, lean on that truth, because the deepest rest comes from knowing that you are completely covered by His love. If your heart is still restless, do not worry. Sometimes, the soul needs time to let go of the day, but every word of this prayer is sowing peace within you. Maybe you don't notice it now, but in a few minutes, you will feel it. Tonight, your soul will be like a silent field after the rain, still nourished, ready to rest. Tiredness is not always a sign of weakness. Many times, it is the result of having given everything. Today, if you feel exhausted, do not blame yourself. Be grateful. Be grateful that you have come this far, that you have survived, that you were able to finish this day. Now, let God be the one to continue. You did your part. Tonight, it is His turn to take care of you. When the psalmist wrote, "I will lie down in peace," he did not do it because everything was fine around him. He did it because he had learned to trust the invisible. Tonight, you do the same. You are choosing not to depend on what you see, but on what you believe, and that is more powerful than any physical force. Faith is the bridge to true rest. There are things that only heal while we sleep. God does not need you to be aware to continue working. He knows your soul completely. And tonight, while you sleep, He can restore what no one else can touch. Your emotions, your thoughts, your wounded heart, all of that can begin to heal if you simply decide to trust. You have come to this point with a lighter spirit. Your breathing is slower, your soul calmer. Don't worry. This prayer is not just a set of phrases. It is a path that is leading you to true rest. It is not just an end of the day. It is a beginning of peace. Tonight, you can sleep knowing that you are no longer fighting. You are resting. While the world sleeps, many hearts are still fighting in silence with thoughts that cannot be extinguished. But you are not alone in that battle. Tonight, God is fighting for you, and His way of fighting is to give you peace. It is to silence the noise. It is to surround you with His presence. Let this truth envelop you. The Lord watches while you rest. Perhaps there are things that you did not say today, emotions that you kept, words that you did not express. But God knows even what you cannot put into words. Tonight, He hears what your soul is silent about and answers you with comfort. You do not need to explain anything to Him. Just be, just stay, just surrender, because He already understands everything. Sometimes we think that prayer needs many words, but at night, when the heart is tired, a whisper is enough. Here I am, Lord. Take care of me tonight. That simple phrase, said with faith, has power. God is not looking for perfection in your prayer, only sincerity. And you, right now, are praying for Rael. Psalm 4 ends with a promise, not with a doubt. In peace I will lie down and I will sleep. That is spiritual determination. It is not waiting to feel peace. It is deciding to trust in it. Tonight, do the same. Tell your soul, I am going to rest, not because everything is perfect, but because God is still in control. That is the key. That is the faith that gives rest. You have advanced a lot in this prayer, and each part has been a step inward, towards the deep, toward the place where God speaks to you calmly. Tonight, stay there. Don't run. Don't think about tomorrow. Just breathe. Just listen. Just feel. Because this moment is also prayer. This silence is also presence. There are nights when the soul just needs to be sustained. There is no need to solve anything. There is no need to understand everything. You just need to feel that someone else is carrying the weight with you. And tonight, that someone is God. He is your refuge, your rock, your rest. While you close your eyes, He remains awake, taking care of every detail that you can no longer control. The scriptures do not promise that you will always feel strong, but they do assure that God will be your strength when you do not have it. Tonight, if you feel weak, that is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign of humanity. And the good news is that God does not leave the one who feels weak. He embraces him, He covers him, and He restores him. Tonight, do not hide your fatigue. Present it as an offering. When you choose to pray before going to sleep, you are saying with your heart, I trust more in God than in my thoughts. And that changes everything. Tonight, your mind no longer needs to turn. You no longer have to analyze everything. Just rest. Just let go. Just believe that the God who began with you this day will also be with you until dawn. Not every day is easy, and not every night is peaceful. But even in the midst of chaos, you can find calm if you know who you have trusted. The psalmist did not write about sleeping in peace because everything was going well. He did it because he knew a God who gave peace in the midst of everything. Tonight, you can also declare the same, not because of what you feel, but because of what you know. God is here. You are in the middle of this prayer, and your soul is already calmer, more serene, more receptive. Each part has been a spiritual caress, a way of saying, I am here, Lord, and I belong to you. Tonight, let that belonging be your rest. You are not of fear. You are not of anxiety. You are of God, and those who are of Him sleep in His peace. When the soul begins to calm down, everything inside you becomes comfortable. Breathing becomes deeper. Thoughts become soft. Tension disappears little by little. And then you can hear that soft voice that says, I am with you. That voice does not come from you. It comes from the Spirit. Tonight, listen to it. Believe it. Rest in it. If at this moment you are feeling the presence of God, write amen in the comments. Maybe someone else will read it and also receive peace. Because faith is not just something personal. It is also something that inspires, that lights up others. Make your testimony an echo of hope for those who are also looking for rest tonight. This prayer is not just content. It is a sacred space. It is not entertainment. It is a meeting. You are here because your soul asked for it, and God answered. Tonight, continue with the Spirit. Stay. Do not run. Do not skip steps. Because the more time you spend in His presence, the deeper you rest. Psalm 4 is not there by chance. It is there because someone else, centuries ago, also needed to sleep in the midst of fear, and he found God. Tonight, you are also finding Him. You are doing the same thing that David did. Surrender to rest, not because everything is resolved, but because you know that you are not alone. Many will end their day in silence, without direction, without meaning. But you are ending it with direction, with faith, with surrender. This prayer is like a flashlight in the darkness, and each word guides you one more step towards real rest. Tonight, you no longer walk blindly. You are being guided by the light of His peace. Tonight, the Holy Spirit reminds you that you do not have to have all the answers to sleep peacefully. You do not need to understand everything you are experiencing. Sometimes, the greatest sign of wisdom is simply to trust yourself. Just as a child sleeps safely knowing that his father is near, so too you can close your eyes tonight. God does not need you to understand. Just trust Him. And if you are here praying, opening your soul, it is because you have already taken the most important step. You no longer depend only on your strength. You are depending on the presence that everything can. Many are going to sleep carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders. But you are doing something different. You are leaving your burdens at the foot of the throne. You are recognizing that there is a limit to what you can do, and that after that limit, God begins. Tonight, it is not your job to solve what is pending. It is not your duty to control what escapes your hands. The only thing you need to do now is rest, because at this precise moment, heaven is working, and while you sleep, there are things that the Father is aligning, solving, accommodating in silence. Sometimes we believe that if we do not feel something strong, then we are not being heard. But God does not always speak in thunder. Many times He speaks in silence, in stillness, in that peace that begins to touch your heart while you listen to this prayer. Psalm 4 does not promise intense emotions, but eternal promises. Tonight, even if you do not feel anything extraordinary, believe that you are being accompanied, that this calm that begins to cover you is not a coincidence. It is the real effect of a living presence that lives with you, a presence that never goes out, not even when you close your eyes. Faith is not always visible, but it is always powerful. Tonight, when you go to bed, you are activating a faith that touches heaven. You are not repeating empty words. You are opening your heart with sincerity, and that has spiritual weight. The world does not see it, but heaven does. Every prayer that comes from the soul has an echo that resonates beyond what you can imagine. Tonight, even your silent thoughts are being heard. Even your silent tears are being collected, because your Father sees what others do not see and respond in a way that only you will know how to recognize. You are crossing the final half of this prayer, and something in you already knows it. Your body has relaxed, your breathing has become deeper, and your soul is beginning to surrender. Tonight will not be another one. It will be a holy night, a night where you will not only sleep, but you will be restored. Because the rest that God gives not only renews the body, it also repairs the invisible. Tonight, what seemed to be restlessness becomes serenity, and what used to be weight now is peace. All thanks to a simple decision. Pray before going to sleep. Tonight, while many turn off the lights without knowing how to silence their minds, you chose to do something different. You chose to guide your soul to rest with prayer. You chose to end the day not with complaints or anxiety, but with gratitude and faith. And that changes everything, because God honors those who seek Him in secret, those who, in the midst of fatigue, still decide to approach Him. This prayer is more than words. It is a spiritual declaration. It is like a key that opens the doors to deep rest. Tonight, let that rest begin now, not when sleep overcomes you, but when your spirit surrenders with confidence. Do you realize what you are doing right now? You are prioritizing your soul. You are choosing a different path. You are giving value to what truly sustains your life, communion with God. And when that happens, rest is transformed. It is no longer just physical. It becomes integral. It encompasses your mind, your emotions, your body, your thoughts. Tonight, God does not just want you to sleep. He wants you to heal, to let go of what you did not say, to weep over what you hid, to rest even on yourself, because His peace is not partial. It is complete, and it is available to you right now. There is no better way to end the day than by listening to these words. In peace, I will rest, and in peace, I will sleep. This verse is much more than poetry. It is a declaration of radical confidence, a confession that comes from the soul that has learned to rest without seeing everything clearly. Tonight, you can do the same. You can rest with that phrase on your lips, in your mind, in your spirit, not as a formula, but as a truth planted inside you, because you are not at the mercy of the night. You are in the hands of God, who created day and night, and who also takes care of you while you sleep. Maybe there are still things that are spinning in your head, words that someone told you, fears that you do not know how to explain, dreams that you do not know if to continue chasing. But tonight, you do not need to solve all that. You just need to deliver it, like a letter that is left on the altar, like a sigh that is thrown into the sky. God does not need solutions to give you rest. He just needs you to open the door, and you are doing it now. So let it go, everything. There is nothing so complicated that He cannot understand. There is nothing so profound that He cannot touch. You are on the right path. Every minute you spend here is an investment in your rest, in your peace, in your relationship with God. You are not wasting time. You are planting true rest, a rest that does not end with this prayer, but continues even when you sleep. Tonight, your dreams will be protected, your body will be renewed, and your soul will remember that there is no place more secure than God's arms. Just as the psalmist wrote it, you are also living it. In peace I will lie down, because there is no better way to sleep than in the presence of the Father. You are on the right path. Every minute you spend here is an investment in your rest, in your peace, in your relationship with God. You are not wasting time. You are planting true rest, a rest that does not end with this prayer, but continues even when you sleep. Tonight, your dreams will be protected, your body will be renewed, and your soul will remember that there is no place more secure than God's arms. Just as the psalmist wrote it, you are also living it. In peace I will lie down, because there is no better way to sleep than in the presence of the Father. If you could see what is happening in the invisible while you pray, your soul will be filled with amazement, because every word that comes out with faith activates celestial responses. Every rendition of yours is a movement of heaven in your favor. Tonight, while it seems like nothing is happening, in reality, everything is happening. God is aligning your interior. He is redirecting your thoughts. He is closing wounds that have been open for a long time. And you do not have to do anything but remain. This is your part. Stay under His cover. Let yourself be cared for. Let yourself be renewed. This is the work of His peace in you. The darkness of the night is not an enemy for those who live in the light of faith, because even if you do not see with your eyes, you can see with your heart. And tonight, your heart already perceives that you are not alone. There's an invisible but real company, a spiritual shelter that surrounds you and tells you, rest. I am with you. That is the promise that Psalm 4 declares. That is the promise that you are living right now. It does not matter if the day was hectic. It does not matter if tomorrow there are challenges. Today, it only matters that God is here, and that alone is enough. Not everyone understands the power of ending the day in prayer. Many simply turn off the light and wait for the dream to arrive. But you have chosen something deeper. You have chosen a spiritual transition, from noise to silence, from fatigue to calm, from control to surrender. That is wisdom. That is mature faith. And that choice will not be in vain. Tonight, your dream will be different, not because you wanted it, but because you sowed it. You activated it with faith. And everything that is sown with faith bears fruit Even while you sleep, you have reached a point where prayer is no longer just something you listen to. It is something you live. It is entering your thoughts, your rhythm, your breathing. You are merging with the peace you have sought. You are no longer struggling to simply receive. Tonight, may that peace be your shelter. May it envelop you, cover you, and accompany you until dawn. Because when you sleep in the presence of God, you not only rest, you also heal, you also grow, you are also transformed from the deepest. Tonight, God is not only accompanying you, He is preparing you. Because while you sleep, He is strengthening your interior. He is renovating areas that you do not even know need be restored. He is activating peace in places where before there was only tension. This is not a simple night of sleep. It is a night of spiritual health, of deep care, of silent transformation. Trust in that process. You do not need to understand everything to receive it. You only need to allow it. Open up, and you already did it. Every minute here is a proof that you are allowing God to work without interference. If your thoughts try to return, if the inner noise threatens to return, do not be alarmed. Breathe. Return to the center. Repeat the promise. In peace I will lie down, and likewise I will sleep. That phrase is power, not because it is magical, but because it is based on an eternal truth, a truth that does not depend on your emotions, but on the character of God. He does not change, and this night will not let you go either. So every time something wants to interrupt your rest, remember it. You are in firm hands. You are under divine care. Nothing can take away the peace that you have already begun to experience. The day is already behind. You cannot redo it. You cannot relive it. But you can release it. You can forgive yourself. You can close your chapters without fear. Tonight, let the past stay in its place. Do not bring it with you to the pillow. Do not give it power over your rest. Because the God who takes care of your present also covers your past. He redeems, heals, and renews. So now, let this prayer be your final seal, the spiritual signature of a given day, and the beginning of a truly restorative night. There is a special sweetness in the nights where one surrenders in prayer, because everything within you aligns. Everything finds its place, and you discover that you do not need to have a perfect day to have a perfect rest. You just need to trust. You just need to let God be God. Tonight, make your faith a bed. Make your prayer a blanket. Make your promise a pillow. And just like a child who knows his father is near, close your eyes without fear, because you are being held. You are being kept. You are being loved in silence. While everything around you is sleeping, you walked a long path in this prayer. Word for word, you were releasing loads. Breath after breath, you were entering stillness. And now, you do not need to do much more. Just receive. Just stay. Just allow the peace you so long for to do its complete work in you. Tonight, God not only wants you to rest, He wants you to wake up tomorrow with a renewed soul. And He will, because He is faithful, and you trusted, and that is enough. You walked a long path in this prayer. Word for word, you were releasing loads. Breath after breath, you were entering stillness. And now, you do not need to do much more. Just receive. Just stay. Just allow the peace you so long for to do its complete work in you. Tonight, God not only wants you to rest, He wants you to wake up tomorrow with a renewed soul. And He will, because He is faithful, and you trusted, and that is enough. It does not matter how many times you have had shaky nights. This can be different, because it does not depend on the environment. No, it does not depend on what you live today. It depends on what you're choosing now. Trust. You're activating something very powerful at the end of your day in prayer. You are saying, Lord, you have control. And when you do that, invisible chains are broken. The soul is released. The doors of true rest are opened. Tonight, you will not only sleep, you will be covered with purpose. Because everything that is given to God in faith returns full of grace. Imagine for a moment your soul lying down gently in the hands of God, without tension, without fear, without the obligation to be strong, only being, only existing in peace. That is how the Father wants you to end your day, not like someone who falls from exhaustion, but like someone who completely surrenders to love. because his love does not press. It envelopes. It does not demand. It embraces. And in that love, you can finally let go of everything. Tonight, allow that love to be the last thought before going to sleep, and you will see how even your dreams will be different. Nothing that happens tomorrow will change the fact that tonight you were sustained. It does not matter if the next day brings challenges, because you have already sown the strength you will need. You did it here, in this prayer. While the world is agitated looking for solutions, you found rest. While others struggle with anxiety, you chose to trust, and that will make all the difference. Tonight, the Lord guard your mind, your heart, your body, your dreams. And tomorrow when you wake up, he will remind you, you were faithful in seeking me, and I was faithful in taking care of you. You came far, not only in minutes, but in depth. This prayer has not been a routine. It has been a transformation. You have traveled from restlessness to calm, from fatigue to surrender, from noise to silence. And now your soul is ready, ready to rest without reservations, ready to surrender to the divine care. Let this last stage of the night be lived with gratitude. Be grateful for what you let go, for what you felt, for what you do not need to carry anymore. Because tonight, your soul was touched by God, and that changes everything. There are days that leave us invisible marks, words that hurt us, emotions that we cannot manage, silences that weighed. But tonight, all those marks are being touched by a healing presence, the presence of God, who not only listens, also restores. He is passing through your soul like a balm, closing wounds with tenderness, reaffirming your identity with love. And while this happens, you do not need to do anything else. Just stay, just allow, because where your spirit is, there is rest, and you are within that rest now. There are days that leave us invisible marks, words that hurt us, emotions that we cannot manage, silences that weighed. But tonight, all those marks are being touched by a healing presence, the presence of God, who not only listens, also restores. He is passing through your soul like a balm, closing wounds with tenderness, reaffirming your identity with love. And while this happens, you do not need to do anything else. Just stay, just allow, because where your spirit is, there is rest, and you are within that rest now. Your room is no longer just a physical place. It has become a sanctuary, a space where heaven met earth, a corner where the soul spoke and God listened. And in that silent exchange, everything changed. Maybe tomorrow everything will be the same outside, but you will not be the same inside. Because tonight you did something brave. You chose to trust. You chose to stop. You chose to close the day with God. And that leaves a mark, an invisible but eternal mark. The deepest rest is not the one that comes from tiredness, but the one that comes from surrender. And you already surrendered. Tonight, you do not need to do more. You do not need to solve anything. You do not need to pray with more strength. Just stay. Stay in this peace. Stay in this certainty. The God who accompanied you during the day will also cover you during the night. He does not sleep. He does not get distracted. He does not forget. And while you turn off everything, he ignites promises that will remain active even while you sleep. You are in the last part of the spiritual journey, but it is not the end. It is the beginning of a different night. This time you will not only sleep, you will be renewed. This time you will not only rest, you will be visited by true peace. May all that you sowed here with your faith accompany you during the next hours. May what God began in this prayer continue inside you while you sleep, because whoever sleeps in the presence of God never gets up the same. This night has not been like the others. Something in you knows it. Something moved inside you in a subtle but powerful way. You are no longer with your soul agitated. You are no longer carrying the day. You are floating in the peace of God, in the calm that is not made. It is received. This type of rest does not come from the tired body, but from the surrendered soul. And you came this far because you chose to surrender. You chose to surrender. And now the only thing left is to sleep with the confidence that heaven is in charge. And you are sure. Psalm 4 does not end in doubt. It ends in certainty. In peace I will lie down and also sleep, because only you, Lord, make me live with confidence. That phrase is not a desire. It is a statement. And you are making it yours tonight, not as an emotional comfort, but as a spiritual decision. Tonight you decide to believe that rest is possible, that peace is real, that silence is not loneliness. It is communion. Because when God is near, even silence speaks. And tonight, He is speaking to you in the deepest. If your mind tries to find reasons to worry, answer it with faith. Remember what you lived here. Remember every word of this prayer, every promise sown, every weight released. You do not need to go back to the noise. You have already found peace. Tonight, let all within you surrender to this truth. You are covered. You are guarded. You are surrounded by a presence that does not sleep. And if it is awake, you can sleep. While the world continues to spin, while others struggle with their thoughts, you chose the path of stillness. And that is not a small thing. That is spiritual wisdom. Because whoever learns to rest in God also learns to live with more peace. Tonight, you are learning. You are growing. You are healing. Without effort, without pressure, just for being here, present, available, surrendered. That is your greatest strength right now. You are very close to the end, and your soul already knows it. There is no longer anxiety. There is no longer tension. Only gratitude remains. A soft, silent, deep gratitude. Because tonight God was here, not with fires or earthquakes, but with peace, true peace, the same that the psalmist lived and that you have just experienced. Tonight will not end when you turn off the screen. It will end when your spirit surrenders completely and says, "Thank you, Lord. I rest in you." There is no hurry. This prayer is not about getting to the end quickly, but about savoring every moment of peace. You have done something that many forget. You gave a space to your spirit. You gave voice to your soul. And you did it with simplicity, with surrender, with truth. Tonight, that surrender is being honored. God does not ignore those who seek Him in secret. He answers. He cares. He sustains. This peace you feel is an answer. It is a sign that your faith has been heard. How many times have we finished a day without pausing, without truly breathing, without looking at the sky? But you, today, did different. You made space for the eternal, for the sacred. And that silent gesture has an eternal weight. Tonight, your rest will not only be deep, it will be significant, because you are not sleeping from tiredness, but from the presence, from the date, from the certainty that God is here, taking care of you with infinite love. Maybe you feel that there are still things to be resolved, but that does not change your rest, because God does not give you peace only when everything is settled. He gives you peace now, while you wait, while you sleep, while you trust. Tonight, let His peace be greater than your questions. Let His presence be stronger than your doubts. And let His silent voice silence everything else. Because when He speaks, everything in you calms down. You are not sleeping as someone who surrenders to exhaustion. You are sleeping as someone who gives their soul to the Creator. That difference changes everything. Because sleeping with faith is resting, knowing that there is purpose, care, and grace even while you sleep. Tonight, you do not disconnect. You reconnect with heaven, and while the world sleeps, heaven moves in your favor. The day ends, the words go out, but the prayer still beats within you. You no longer need to keep listening, to keep praying. You no longer need more phrases, to keep believing, because the seed was planted. And now you can close your eyes. You can allow yourself to fall gently into the deepest rest, into the embrace of God who never sleeps. Nights like this are not common. They are gifts. They are pauses in the midst of noise, whispers in the midst of tiredness, signs that God still speaks and you still listen. This prayer has been more than a guide. It was a refuge, a place where you let go, where you cried inside, where you felt calm without explanation. And all of that is real, because the presence of God is not measured by what is seen, but by what it transforms. Tonight, you were transformed. Maybe tomorrow there will be things to face, decisions to make, responsibilities to assume. But none of that has power over you now, because rest is your shield, prayer is your armor, and the peace you received here is your preparation. Tonight, you don't need to think about tomorrow. You already did the most important thing. Surrender today, seek today, believe today, and that's enough. Tomorrow is in God's hands, just like you. As you get closer to the end of this prayer, maybe you feel that words are left out. You don't need any more phrases. Just presence, just silence. Just breathe with the certainty that everything is fine, even if not everything is resolved. Because when God is there, there is peace. And where there is peace, there is rest. Tonight, everything is fine. Not because the world says so, but because your spirit recognizes it. Because you are already wrapped in the promise of Psalm 4, and that changes everything. You are reaching the end with a quieter heart, a clearer mind, a firmer faith. And that is a sign that this prayer did its work. Not only did you listen, you also lived. Not only did you speak, you were also embraced. Tonight, heaven was here. And when heaven approaches, even the most tired soul finds rest. There is nothing left to say. Just thank, just rest, just trust. You have walked an hour of surrender, of faith, of silence, and of presence. You have walked step by step toward a rest that not only restores the body, but also the soul. And now, you can sleep knowing that you are sustained, accompanied, renewed. Tonight, don't dream with fear. Dream with freedom. Dream like someone who knows that it was heard by heaven, because you, beloved soul, will rest in peace. In this hour of silence, the presence of God is not gone. On the contrary, it has become denser, sweeter, closer. You have crossed threshold after threshold in this prayer, and now you are right where He wanted you to be, to the point where you can let go of everything without fear. Tonight, what began as a search ended in a meeting, and what seemed like a routine became a revelation. You no longer need to make an effort to feel it, because He is here, still, present, with you. Your body may be ready to sleep, but your spirit remains awake in peace. That peace that does not depend on the environment or on silence, not even on music, but on the certainty that you were heard, that you were consoled, that you were sustained. Tonight, Psalm 4 is not only a distant promise, it is your living experience. You are the one who lies in peace. You are the one who sleeps confident, because only God could give you what now dwells in you. There is no prayer without answer when it is done sincerely. And tonight, what you sowed with your words and your attention was not in vain. Perhaps you do not see the answer in the form of an immediate miracle, but what you're already feeling inside is a miracle in itself. This tranquility, this softness, is a whisper from heaven telling you, I am here. So sleep, beloved soul. Sleep knowing that heaven answered. If you could see yourself in the eyes of the Father right now, you would see a son resting in peace, a soul that stopped running, that let go of control, that gave a day, and that now simply gives up. This surrender is not weakness. It is confidence. It is rest. It is silent faith. It is spiritual wisdom. Tonight, while the world spins and the lights go out, you are being held by the eternal arms of God who never sleeps. You are very close to the end, and at the same time, you are right in the center of the rest. Everything you needed to receive was already delivered. Everything you had to let go was already left behind. Tonight, do not dream with concern. Dream with purpose. Dream knowing that heaven takes care of you, that the love of God surrounds you, and that while your eyes close, your soul continues to rest in His presence. Each word spoken in this prayer was a step inward, and now, in this final silence, you can feel it. Something inside you became clearer, softer, quieter. You are not carrying anything. You are no longer struggling with thoughts. Tonight, the soul found its place, the heart found refuge, and the most beautiful thing is that it was not by force, it was by faith, just by opening you, just by surrendering you, just by choosing to close the day in the company of God. Everything you could not say, God understood it. Everything that still hurts you, God touched it. Everything you need tomorrow, God is already preparing it. This is His fidelity. It does not depend on you. It depends on His love. And His love does not change. It does not exhaust. It does not stop. Tonight, that love is your shield, your coat, your safe place. Do not fear, do not doubt, just rest. Because whoever surrenders to that love really sleeps. Even if you do not notice it, something eternal was sown tonight. Something deep, invisible, but real. This prayer does not end here. Its effects will continue in you when you wake up, when you breathe, when you open your eyes, when you go out to face a new day. Because a soul who sleeps with God also walks with him when he wakes up. Tonight it was sown. Tomorrow it will be harvested. And what you lived here will be your firm base for everything that comes. The silence that comes after this prayer will not be empty. It will be sacred, because you no longer need more words. Only presence, only rest, only peace. Psalm 4 fulfilled its purpose in you. It guided you to a complete surrender, to a deep sleep, to an invisible communion, but unbreakable. Tonight the psalmist does not speak alone. You also say it. In peace I lie down and sleep confident. Now, yes, the time has come. The prayer ends, but the presence remains. May your last thought before going to sleep be gratitude. May your last sigh be rest. And may your heart, even while you dream, continue repeating, "Thank you, Lord. Tonight I will rest in your peace." Amen.